Hey, back with another video. Here to show you my method on applying rod set to any head of hair, but the client that I'm working with has a nice beautiful head of kinky hair, and obviously you want to start with detangled hair, and we're going off and parting off sections to begin on this area at the nape of the neck. Now, parting method is not necessarily that relevant because obviously this is a curly style, so the scalp will not be visible. So I'm going in with my preference, which is the natural parting, starting with the smaller rollers in the back of her head, because typically the nape of the neck has the shortest length of hair on the average head of hair. So going in with a comb that has small teeth and at one end, and then fine teeth at the other end of the comb, and just kind of like detangling that section, wrapping the ends around the roller, making sure they're kind of flattened and controlled, rolling it around, smoothing it down, and then grabbing all of the extra hairs that are a little bit shorter and weren't in my grasp at the beginning of applying the roller, and just zooming in for you so you can see how shiny it is. It's a very sleek looking product so far, and we aren't even finished. So and the mousse I'm working with is the Cream of Nature in the red bottle with the red cap. I don't know if there's another kind, but just to be specific, lately that's been my go-to or preferred mousse for roller sets. So again, you detangle the section, make sure you stretch it out and keep it firmly in your grasp while you reach for your roller, sleek everything down. Yeah, that's just some realness for you. Sometimes the hair can be slippery and it just pop right out of your hands. So you just kind of like smooth everything over the roller, then begin to roll it up. Make sure you grab all those extra hairs that sometimes can be too short when you begin to initially apply the roller to the section, and just, you know, smooth it down as you are going over that area and rolling all the way up to the scalp. You want to make sure that the roller is firmly sitting on the head of hair, not in an uncomfortable way, because the bungee is only so strong, so sometimes they'll break or snap or anything like that, but just so it's not loose, because if it is loose, then the curl won't actually be as consistent, maybe in comparison to some other areas of the head. So you want to make sure that you are kind of like thorough and as consistent as possible with your application of this method. So again, holding the ends firmly while I reach for my roller, smoothing them down, and, you know, putting the end over the roller, smoothing the end down, and then just rolling over those ends, grabbing all of the shorter hairs that didn't make it or that weren't exactly at length as I started to roll it up, and just continually rolling that roller up that section of hair, grabbing and smoothing down all of the hairs that I bring in, so it's just smooth. You know, this is like, if you the smoother you want this to be a smooth outcome. Generally, when it comes to roller sets, a lot of people use the blow dry method. And by blow dry method, I don't even know if it's called. There's so many different names for things these days, but it's generally a lot of people start their roller sets on already blown dry hair, which I don't personally have an issue with. I just don't use that method for my clients. I foresee that, no pun intended, that blow dried hair could be a longer process of actually absorbing the product. I may be wrong, but it just seems like there wouldn't be much longevity when it comes to applying rollers on already dry hair. It seems like it would take longer for that product to absorb, and it may not be as much longevity compared to setting the style on wet hair. I could be wrong, but this is just my current preference, and I honestly have not explored doing a rod set on blow dried hair. So if I do that, I may do a video and update you all on my experience with that and whether or not my mentality has changed on the subject. But as of now, I am a proponent for doing roller sets on damp, wet hair. And so again, going in with the fine tooth comb and smoothing out that section, laying down, wrapping around the hair, laying down the ends, smoothing it out and making sure it's controlled, very firm grip, and consistently doing that smoothing process to make sure nothing gets fluffy or separated from this method. No loose strands or no wavy, bulky, bumpy areas of the hair that's rolled on the roller, just so you can have a very consistent style once you finish the drying part of this process. And sometimes you'll see me go back and wrap some hair down because it is kinky hair. It's going to curl up, it's going to revert because this product is water based. Mousse is water based, so sometimes you'll see some strands that kind of roll back and go back. But right now I'm on the left side of the head and I'm going to be doing the same method, the same way to install the roller, but you're going to see me roll it up a different direction. So this roller is on the left side of the head, and like I said, it's the same method, but it's just facing a different direction. And I'm going to explain why or go into a bit of detail a little bit later in the video. But right now you see me doing the same thing, grabbing all of the excess hairs that were a bit shorter, smoothing everything down, and just making sure everything's nice and flush, wrapping all of those hairs around the roller and rolling it all the way up until it's resting firmly against the scalp, bringing the bungee down and hooking the closure into the bottom. So nice and shiny. And we're over here at the crown of the head, just about. As you can see, I've ventured into a few different sizes, just because generally the hair gets longer as you approach the crown and top of the head. So just to accommodate that and give more of a fuller look to the front, I switched to this orange colored, between the kind of like pastel orange and this bright orange color in the top of the head. Yeah, again, the same process. You're just making sure everything's smooth, and when it's firmly touching the scalp, you hook the end into the end of the roller so that it's shut. So we're here on the left side of the head. As you can see, regardless of how shiny and sleek and flat the hair looks against the roller, this is this client's natural texture. Very beautiful, kinky, dense head of hair. No straighteners, no blow dry, as you can tell. But going back to my reasoning for facing a different direction or rolling the hair differently on the left side of the head, it's due to kind of like what I view as symmetry almost. It may be I may be wrong in my descriptive term, but when it comes to when you get curls, period, generally you get the curls going directed away from your face, so that it kind of like you can rake the curls and it gives you body instead of just kind of like all just being in your face. Similar to if you ever wore a wrap or anything like that, you know that the stylist always curled your hair away from your face. But that's just my reasoning behind it. I've always done it this way, had the left side of the hair sectioned off so that I could angle or roll in the rollers face so that the curls would be away from the face as far as the direction of the roller. And that's just my own personal reason. Some people do it all the same direction. It's not that it wouldn't come out looking nice. I've just always done it this way, just based on what I've experienced working in a salon where they do straight hair and curl the hair away from the face. So it's just kind of like learned behavior, if you will. So again, You know, the same and like that's some real life struggle right there. How you saw it's just not always easy to get it to come around and clasp down. That's kind of like actual reality. So you just got to be persistent with this one. And sometimes with these rollers themselves, you'll get the bungee will come off, all of that. Like it's just not the best design, but hey, how can you argue with 12 pieces for 79 cents? So again, this is me taking the ends, making them flat, and just rolling up that section of hair with the roller, smoothing everything down until I get to the root, bringing the bungee around and hooking it in, making sure the placements are fit. And the placement is important too, like how you saw me adjust placements for some of these. It actually is ideal because it makes it so that the rollers themselves already have ventilation holes, and that's actually why that's my preference to work with the rods. The perm rods is what these are called. If no one's familiar, these are called perm rods. They come in various sizes, but I prefer these particular rollers because they have ventilation holes. But also placement of the rollers is important because you need the air to be able to circulate while they're under the hooded dryer. So you just want to kind of like have things sitting in between each other, so it's not kind of like everything can get air, for lack of a better reference. But getting this last one on film down, smoothing everything down, making sure it could fit in this area here, and then hooking it in. There we go. That's the finished look of everything, all on the roller, the full head of rollers before the client dried. The full look, I used white, fuchsia, and orange. This is the finished look, and it's a nice head of sleek, shiny curls. You can get at least a week to 2 weeks out of a roller set. And these are the finished pictures. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram. Bye.